was really identifying the best possible people and giving them, sort of empowering them to go do their best, teaching them, guiding them, coaching them to be able to perform at their top of their game. And that really, I think, sunk in with me at an early time in this journey, and it's been great. We've put some very specific practices in place with our leaders to be able to help them.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
When you think about growth in your company, you may think about the strategies that you have to employ to get to where you're going. Maybe it's about servicing customers, market share, new products. Maybe it's buying another company. But one of the things that I've seen is most important for companies that want to grow fast, continue that growth, is using leadership development across the board to engage their employees, to be better leaders, to connect better, to really think about what it means to lead others and develop them. Today we have a special guest. Lawrence Armstrong is the chairman of the board of Ware Malcomb. They're a design for residential and commercial businesses. They do a lot of engineering work as well, and really had a great conversation with them today about what it took for them to grow into over $100 million company, over 25 locations, over 600 employees. He said the core answer was using leadership development as a way to not only enhance the work that they did, but also to develop the people. I want to talk about that today in this episode. It's a very special one because leadership development is something I've been working on inside this company. If you don't know, we are a coaching company, but we also develop leaders. We have a program called the Leadership On-Ramp. If you want to find out more information about that specific program, make sure you go to genehammett.com/leadership development. You'll find out some details about what it takes to create a leadership development program that is world-class, what you need to do next as a leader, and all of it is absolutely free. Now, here's the interview with Lawrence. Lawrence, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Excited to have you on the podcast here. You've had a long journey with Ware Malcomb, but I want you to take our audience into just a little bit of a background of tell us about Ware Malcomb and what you guys do.
So we're a Southern California-based architecture, interior design, civil engineering, and branding firm. So design firm based here in Irvine, California. We have 25 offices across North America, and we service the commercial and corporate real estate industry.
Love it. Well, you've grown really fast over the years. You've over 100 million in revenue. I'm sure you've continued to grow since those numbers were reported 2019.
Yes.
Over 600 employees. What are you most proud of besides the growth of the company?
So I think really the diversification and development of our team, and the ability to grow sort of our leadership team throughout the company and really give people opportunities to grow their career here. We're obviously we service all sorts of companies and clients, and we learn a lot from the clients we service. They're in all kinds of different businesses, and so we've really learned a lot from all of them, and it's given our people a really great platform to grow, I think.
Well, it sounds like you believe in investing in employees. That's a part of the whole growth formula for you. Why is leadership and development important to the continued growth of the company?
Well, so any of us, I think, that are leaders understand you can't do it alone. You have to build a fantastic team to make your company go and be able to service your clients. So very early in my career, I was given the opportunity by our founders to A, go open an office, and then B, be part of the leadership team that took over the company and purchased the company. And I was very young, and we were a Southern California-based company back then. And so it was such an amazing opportunity that I was given we decided really to try to create as many of those opportunities for people as we can. So that was kind of the idea. Is our clients? We're commercial real estate experts. That's basically who we are, and so we set ourselves apart in the design industry based on sort of that idea. So what happened was clients ask us and continue to ask us to go to different places, to open offices, to service them. And so as we did that, we began to give existing team members opportunities to go and move to a different city perhaps, and take on a leadership position and grow an office. And so the combination of those two things is what fueled our growth. Clients asking us to go places and assist them, and then which created an opportunity for us to promote people and help them to grow their careers and experience a leadership opportunity.
Lawrence, what do you think are, one of the biggest mistakes that companies are making when they are investing in leaders and leadership development?
I think, well, we've certainly made our share of mistakes, and I think over time we've learned that people that are practitioners in any field, I'm sure, but particularly in the design field, are great at their craft, and are technical in design and artistic ability. But when people begin to lead people, that's a different job, right? And so we learned over time we had to spend a lot of time with our people, training them to be able to do that. And so we've created, over time, we've put a lot of pieces in place here to create what I like to call kind of a leadership academy. We sort of learned this. I learned a lot from Jack Welch and people like that, and what he was able to do at GE in creating a leadership sort of academy where it produced so many business leaders that went out into the world and grew up in his company. We've really emulated that idea here.
Well, we've had a guy named Frank Blake, who's a former CEO of Home Depot, on our show before. He was a mentor and also worked under Jack Welch. He talked a lot about that. Is there one core principle in the Jack Welch thinking of leadership that kind of drives you?
Yeah, it was really identifying the best possible people and giving them, sort of empowering them to go do their best, teaching them, guiding them, coaching them to be able to perform at their top of their game. And that really, I think, sunk in with me at an early time in this journey, and it's been great. We've put some very specific practices in place with our leaders to be able to help them. Excuse me.
What are some of those practices that you feel like have moved the needle? Because I know sometimes we try things and they don't all work out, but what are the one or two that stand out?
Yeah, so this isn't rocket science, but we are very well connected, and we continue to be as a company culturally, from a leadership standpoint. I use a metaphor here called fleet of ships. So the idea is that we're not a big giant ocean liner that takes a lot of time to change and turn and adapt. We're a fleet of smaller ships, so that we can turn and adapt quickly. But that means we all have to be going the same direction at all times. So we stay very connected. We have monthly business calls with each one of our offices and group leaders to go over everything from new opportunities and business development and operations and financials and HR issues and all that sort of thing. We have leadership meetings 3 times a year where we bring all the leaders from all around the company together at one time to go over important topics and share information so that we can stay as connected and stay a fleet of ships as much as we possibly can.
Hold on for a second. Lawrence just said well connected as something that he thinks about within the organization, the culture of the people. How often do you think about how connected the people are? their ability to collaborate together, their ability to communicate. Well, a lot of leaders disregard those little touchy-feely kind of things inside of leadership. They want to get the work done. They want to measure the metrics. They want more sales, more revenue, whatever it is. They never take the time to really think about being connected. So here's my call to action to you. Think about what would it take for you and your organization to feel more connected. It's a really big question, but something that you will see comes up with really amazing opportunities for you as a company to grow. Back to the interview. When I talked to Frank Blake about one of the core principles they have is core values, is entrepreneurial thinking. Has that kind of made its way into the way you guys develop people to get them to kind of think like their own CEOs?
Big time. Absolutely. Each office leader is really empowered to do that. And again, we have certain, core principles that we want to each leader to achieve, but we have a platform, and we've developed our platform of services over a period of time and diversified them so that we were more resilient in downturns. And so everything from building out their org chart to writing a strategic plan every year, to diversifying their service offerings in line with the platform that our company offers, all of those sorts of things. The entrepreneurship, the business development piece is very, very important and critical to the growth of each one of our offices and our company.
What does that entrepreneurship mean to you? I was talking to a group of leaders the other day, and I asked them, we want people to feel empowered and behind this, but what does it feel like when people truly think like leaders? So what do you think that word is?
I think it's freedom. I think that we're a company that, sort of mix it. I think we've found a good mix of sort of top-down leadership and bottom-up input and expression. And so I think, understanding what our company is and wants to be, and then the freedom to go build that in a community. Every community we work in is a little bit different, so it's not a cookie cutter kind of a thing. Our leaders, are given sort of parameters to work in, but then it's up to them to go build. And I think, the building with sort of a freedom, I think, is really kind of what drives us. Collaboration is huge in our company. We try to be very connected. We try to show our clients we're unique in that way. So our offices are not competing with each other. They're collaborating with each other, and they share work with each other. We have a lot of accounts that are national in nature. We work for the Fortune 500. We work for national development companies, and we share that work across the platform. No matter who is in charge of an account or where an account might be centered, we really try to maximize our footprint, I guess, in the ability to service a client across the country.
Hold on. Lawrence just talked about the feeling of freedom. Now, I don't know what the feeling is for you, but it is a big question. If you had more people around the organization taking ownership of their work, how would you feel? Would you feel relief? Would you feel freedom? No matter what it is, I guarantee you got a smile on your face thinking and imagining what it would be like to have people truly take control of their projects, take ownership of the client experience, driving growth, all because they knew that's what they were supposed to be doing. Not because they had to, because it was a part of their identity. This is what I've been talking about for years on this podcast. I wanted to bring a spotlight to it today because you may feel freedom, you may feel relief, it may be something else, but undoubtedly you have a smile on your face. Back to the interview with Lawrence. I know we talked about mistakes earlier, but is there a mistake that kind of stands out in your mind where you had to shift or evolve your perspective of leadership?
I always say we learn everything in recessions and downturns. And, our industry, the whole construction industry, the design and construction industry is certainly vulnerable and cyclical, right, to to economic swings. And so I think that over time, we've probably been in previous downturns late to try to diversify, right? And so it hurt us. We get smashed. We used to get smashed during recessions, and we got a lot smaller. But we were always chasing the billings downward, and then when we'd rebound, we try to build in some more diversifications. And I think we've been through enough of these ups and downs now that I think we've gotten a lot better at that. I think the other thing is we learned that to keep the company healthy, you have to act fast and face the facts when you're on a downturn. And I think, in the past, we made sort of the mistake of holding on too many people too long, because it's hard. It's hard to get smaller, hard to lay people off,
Extremely hard.
but one of the things we've learned is if you want to save the company for the long term, you have to make those tough decisions, and you have to make them early. And so, we've fought very hard to diversify our company so that we'd be less vulnerable. But we've also, I think, one of the things we've tried to teach across our platform is you have to face facts too, and you have to face them early. Otherwise, you're just losing money, and you can't afford to do that when you're a for-profit enterprise, right? So
I want to read between the lines here, Lawrence. I know you've probably made some changes like that through this, COVID experience. You had told me this is the first day back in the office this week, after months of I guess working from home. Is that right?
Yes, our whole company shifted. 600 people shifted 2.5 months ago, or however long, to work from home. And so that's been a very challenging time, as you can imagine, for everybody, and including our company. However, I think we were very well set up for it. We have a diverse client base. Our people are very committed and smart. We had already been experimenting for some years at rotating people in and out, and some work from home scenarios to keep our real estate footprint kind of tight and in check. And so when this came, we were well used to working from home. Not the whole company, but at least our IT department was, and some of our staff was, and we bulked up our cloud capability. And for a company like ours, we use very robust software to 3D BIM software to execute design on our building. So it needs a lot of power, and we've really our company's done, our people have done an awesome job during this downturn, producing great work. And as we transitioned back into the offices, I think we're back into 10 of the offices now as of today. We got 15 to go, but it's been I would say very smooth.
I know a lot of companies have had to adjust things that they go on in their culture and how people stay connected. When you think about the future of your organization, and I don't really want to go technical here. I want to kind of go at that leadership development standpoint. What will be new as you come out of this new change?
Yeah, so I think one new thing is that our leaders have learned how to communicate. I mean, obviously everybody's adapted to Zoom meetings and Microsoft Team meetings, but beyond that, staying connected to teammates and people on your team and cross teams and all that sort of thing. I think we've learned a lot. We've gotten a lot better at it. And so now teams that really were doubtful about, well, can we have some people work at home and some people in the office? I think, all those arguments are gone, right? I mean, that's over. Well, I think everybody knows now that if some of our teammates are more comfortable working from home for a while, that's totally fine. We've had others that just can't wait to get back to the office and get a little more human contact,
Yeah.
And So I would say it's about, from what I can see, maybe it's 50-50, or maybe
Right.
it's a little heavier towards coming to the office. But, um, it's also for some of our teams that are in a very traffic heavy place like LA, it's way more efficient, right? You don't have to drive 5 miles that takes you 45 minutes to go to see a client. You can do this over Zoom and you do your meeting and you go and you do your work. So, that's been a very interesting thing that I think is going to stick a little bit.
I want to wind up our talk today, Lawrence, with a question that hopefully you've got an answer to. But people inside of leadership is a very intangible kind of metric to measure. Is there anything you've put in place as you've developing these leaders? You've got your leadership academy that you can share with how you measure that intangible aspect of people?
Yeah, so you're right. I would boils down to culture. I think we have a very, very specific culture here at Ware Malcomb, and it's a mix of a lot of the things I've talked about. There's the metrics that you can measure a leader's performance on, but it's also how effective they are at leading people. How effective are they at working with their colleagues, other leaders across the platform? How much do they really get our culture? Are they embracing the culture of the company? And, those are definitely intangibles, and so it's just sort of a feel you have. And, really we base a lot of it about how much are they supported by their colleagues, in this culture. And I think that if they are, then they normally do quite well. And if they get we kind of we usually say things like, well, if they get us, if they get what the platform's about, they usually do great. If they want to come in here and work like they've always worked somewhere else, it usually doesn't work so well.
Is that because of the level of collaboration and what you expect of people taking ownership of their work and whatnot is just different than it is elsewhere?
We believe so, yes. And of course, I haven't worked anywhere else for a long time, but we get a lot of input from a lot of our people. Let's say that, and we've been able to achieve a cool mix of people who have come up through the company, like me and a lot of others, and young people that have been promoted. And we've added some senior people into the team in different markets and different groups. And those that sort of get the concepts that I was talking about do really well. So it's a cool mix of people. But we've also made mistakes. We've had people that come in and they just don't get us, and they're probably better working somewhere else. So.
Well, Lawrence, thank you so much for being here, a part of the show, sharing your wisdom and insight.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. Great talking to you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Here at Grow Think Tank, we really want to cultivate the best interviews for you. As a leader of a fast growth company, as someone who wants to activate others to take ownership, our job is to create content that allows you to grow as a leader. I really love what I do because I work with leaders that are in the defining moments of their own leadership. They know that there's something else that they're meant to do. They're not sure how to do it. They need to get more clear about it, but also they've got to show up at a different level. Maybe they have to let go of something that they don't even know what it is. I say all this because this is what I do for a living. I love working with leaders who want to continue to grow and to work with their teams that want to grow beyond where they are today. Make sure you check out all of the resources at genehammett.com and the podcast interviews at growththinktank.com. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.